The domination of national champion Cameron Beaubier looms heavy over the Superbike paddock. With a perfect 3 wins in 3 races, it's time for the rest of the field to step up and to throw some shots at the number 1. Who's going to answer the call? We find out right now on FS1. Excitement is building for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship, the second round of the season. From Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, it's Superbikes at Road America number 2. As we're in phase 2 here in Wisconsin, so race fans are welcome to come on out and join us. We're happy you did. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg White. Jason Pridmore right there has won 2 world titles in his racing career. Now, Jason, here in the HONOS Superbike class, it has been all Cameron Beaubier so far this season.
Yeah, so far 3-0 for Cameron, and he doesn't look like he's going to be slowing down. Right off the bat, Friday morning, goes out and runs a 2:10.9, and then in race 1 yesterday, Greg, it was much of the same of what we have seen so far. He gets a great start, gets to that first turn first. Kyle Wyman slotted in there with Bobby Fong, but this guy is just kind of at a little bit of another level. That said, that group behind, they're starting to close up, Greg. The margin of victory was closer yesterday with Bobby Fong able to see Cameron all the way down to the end of the race, but Cameron right now is just on rails.
Well, Jason, you know, looking at race strategy, you've been in this situation before, been around racers that have been dominant. You were one in your career. What do you have to do to slow Cameron Beaubier down?
Well, there's really nothing you can do to slow him down. You got to try to get up there and race with him to start with and start getting into this position where you can make him think about you. And this is the guy right now that's taken that fight to him. Bobby yesterday was 4 seconds back going into the last lap. He ended up 6 seconds back because I feel like he probably just knew he wasn't going to catch Cameron. So he's doing a great job as Bobby Fong. Jake Gagne, we knew he had a little bit of a problem yesterday, but he's another guy that's been bringing the fight to his teammate, and what a hard job that must be right now to be Cameron Beaubier's teammate.
And of course, we didn't even get to talk about a couple other riders that are getting the job done. Kyle Wyman is one of them as he finished 3rd yesterday, as well as Tony Elias on the gas. So much to be decided. More to talk about on the other side.
Today's Superbike coverage is sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Welcome back to Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. There was a ton of activities going on here at Superbikes at Road America number 2, including, well, a great spectator activity. Jason, you were at that, the Ovale Cup.
Yeah, it was great. I could not believe how many people were over there, and you could see some of our MotoAmerica guys standing out there watching all these young guys yesterday. It was so fun. And Greg, there were so many people that were enthralled. There was a lot of Ovale kids over there, a lot of different classes. Josh Hayes was over there commentating on it. I was supposed to go over there, but I got stuck doing some things over here. And but yeah, I was watching it on Friday, and I watched it in the morning on Saturday.
Well, the great thing about that little Motul Ovale Cup was the idea of getting young, really young racers into this paddock and in front of everybody. And, you know, the people that own these teams and put people on motorcycles, well, they get to see all the young talent we have here. Now, in terms of this race, 4 miles, a great blend of left and right-hand corners, a lot of elevation here at Road America, Jake.
Nowhere better. This is the best place I think that we go to in the country without question. Turn 1, a lot of fun. Turn 3, turn 1 being fun because it's just so fast getting in there. Getting down into turn 5 is where we've seen a lot of action already today. Down into Canada Corner, we'll see some of these things here in a minute when we look at our Suzuki hotspots. But this track has just offered so much to so many as far as first wins. We've seen Escalante, we've seen Dominic Doyle do well this weekend and things. Here we go, turn 1, Greg. This is the first hotspot I chose because you're coming in there so quickly, and it's hard to make a pass down there. As well as turn 5, you're coming from places where you're drafting at 190 mile an hour. So you've got to be very precise. Down into turn 8, not as fast of a straightaway leading into this, but what comes after turn 8 is what makes Road America great also. It's this great big long carousel, and we talk about it. This is a place where you can make or lose a lot of time. One of the first questions you'll ask a rider is, how's your bike working through the carousel? Because if you're having a handful there, it's going to be a long weekend, so you got to get the bike good. Then we go down into a section, Canada Corner. A lot of people know what Canada Corner is. It's another run down a big, long, fast straightaway into a tight right-hander that leads you back up into 13, and then this corner, 14, that comes onto the front straightaway. And you can see that big hill, Greg. Just past there is the start-finish line.
So let's get right down to the grid. You can see it's full. So here's Hannah Lopa. Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Greg. I am on the front row of the grid. I've got Bobby Fong here with me. Bobby has been so consistent in every session for the entire weekend. A second-place finish for him yesterday. He was second again in practice this morning. Bobby, yesterday, Cam won by the smallest margin so far this season. What are you going to do to further mitigate that gap and get closer to him today?
You know, we just got to be smart and take baby steps and try to latch on to him, and we'll see what happens and let the race play out. But I'm going to give it my best shot, and if we can't do it today, we got the next race, but we're going to give her hell no matter what.
Best of luck out there, Bobby. Thank you. Over to Jamie Howe.
Well, Hannah, Kyle Wyman had plenty of things to celebrate last night after racing to his first podium of the 2020 season, but that celebration has to wait. Instead, he rewatched yesterday's race from start to finish 2 times. Kyle, what were you able to key in on that will help you in today's race?
I think it's just confidence, you know, just getting up there and battling with Tony and having a good race with him. And, you know, it's been a long road getting this bike developed, but I feel like we're in a really good spot. It's like we finally have a really good base setup. So, you know, getting those laps and battling with Tony, making moves and just getting in, that's everything I want, you know. So we're finally there. We're putting in a good fight, and I can't wait to do it today for the Cato Fastening Ducati, and my guys, my KWR crew's doing awesome, so I'm just looking forward to it.
It's almost go time, Greg.
It is almost go time, and these two are going after the #1 plate. Cameron Beaubier has had his way so far. Who's going to be able to challenge him? We're going to find out soon.
The Army National Guard Recruiting and Retention Battalion out of Plymouth, Wisconsin. Singing our national anthem, Jonathan Schweiger, lead singer of Modern Echo.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Once again, Jonathan Schweiger, lead singer of Modern Echo. Let's
Back at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin for HONOS Superbike. This is round 2 and race 2 here in Wisconsin, and it's a beautiful day for racing. Jason, we talked about it, fans are here and all that kind of stuff, but we did want to take a moment and talk about what happened in yesterday's race between Tony Elias and Kyle Wyman. On the racetrack, Tony Elias actually finished 3rd, but on that last lap, he didn't see a waving yellow flag, and so he was relegated to 4th, so that put Kyle Wyman on the podium. How does something like that happen?
Well, what really made a great battle to the end come down to something that got a little bit messed up. There was a rider that had gone off down in Canada Corner, and it gets very narrow down there. So when you get down into Canada Corner and you've got a guy up alongside of you, especially where Tony, what he was trying to do here was he wanted to outbrake Kyle down into Canada Corner, and you can see these guys battling all the way down. Tony, I saw him last night at dinner, and he says, you know, when you get down there and you see the guy on your left, as soon as he wanted to brake, he didn't see the yellow flag, Greg. And it wasn't until later on that he got a picture shown to him that the yellow flag was in the background. He was very good about it, but for Tony this year, with the way his year has gone, that 3rd place and being on the podium would have just given him a little bit more of a jump start, and instead they were pulling his bike out of Parc Ferme.
All right, we're only a couple of minutes away from the start of this race. More to come. HONOS Superbike action coming at you soon.
By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Back in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, HONOS Superbike grid has formed up as we're just moments away from getting all of these racers out on their warm-up lap. Jason, pretty exciting time right now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, for all these riders right now, they're just trying to make a plan to catch this guy on pole position, Cameron Beaubier, 2:10.6. And he's done it on race tires as well as far as that 2:10 goes. And Bobby Fong, you heard him say he wants to bring the fight today, and if it doesn't happen today, it will happen. Jake Gagne 3rd, Matthew Scholes, Tony Elias, and Kyle Wyman will round out row 2. Then we got Dave Anthony, Josh Herron, Max Flinders. Cameron Peterson, who won his first Superstock 1000 race today. Great to see Cam up on the podium with that number 1 in first place. Michael Gilbert and Corey Alexander will be starting next to him on row 4. And then on back to row 5, we're going to see Daniel Lewis, Jeremy Coffey, Travis Wyman, Giannato, who we saw actually tip off yesterday in turn 1. But he got up and kept going. And Bradley Ward and San Rico. And then in row 7, we got Ashton Yates and Tony Storniola.
No PJ Jacobson, because unfortunately this morning PJ had a bit of an incident and sustained some burns, so he is not able to attend this race. We wish PJ Jacobson the best and a speedy recovery. All right, Jason, let's talk warm-up lap. What is it about the warm-up lap? What are you looking for in this particular instance? It's a warm-up lap for a reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna get some heat in these tires that we've just got off warmers, and we're gonna get some heat in it. Today it's not gonna be a problem. There's so much heat out there. Like I said, it's been pretty warm here in Wisconsin, so it's really made these conditions perfect for these riders. This is just a last chance to get those last little jitters out of your stomach, and really, once these guys open the throttle like they are now, they're trying to get heat in the tires, but they're just thinking, make a plan. You know, let's start making a plan for the start. Every rider's a little bit different, I think. Some people just go more based off of instinct, or some people like to be planners. And you know, for me, I was always a planner guy. I always knew where I started. I knew the guys around me. I always planned on getting a great start, and just kind of focused for that first 20 seconds, 30 seconds of the race. Here it's so important, Greg, because you've got to put yourself in the right place down this straightaway that you see these guys going down now. This is out of turn 3, and I always wanted to be the guy that was doing the drafting. I didn't want to ever be the draftee. So, because when you get down into turn 5 here, it can get pretty hectic on that opening lap.
Well, let's get down to Hannah, who has more. What's going on, Hannah?
I'm here with your Olean's last-minute report. The Westby team was running a new motor this weekend, but they felt like it took them a step backward. So they swapped the motor to the one that they used last round, and although Matthew Scholes only had a 15-minute session on it this morning with old tires, he noticed the drive out of the corners immediately improved. If Matt can follow up this progress with a better start today, he thinks that he has the pace to be in contention for a podium.
Awesome.
I think there's a lot of guys that feel like they can be in contention to get that podium spot. I think you've got Bobby and Cameron right now kind of got away from guys a little bit yesterday. So Bobby's kind of trying to take the fight to the number 1. And then you got Scholes and Gagne and Tony, and obviously Kyle Wyman finishes 3rd yesterday on the KWR. Ducati did a great job. There's some guys there that feel like they could be that person that can step up and get up on that podium. And so that third spot is fairly sought after right now for these guys, and as well as second. I mean, we'll see. Bobby again made some inroads in warm-up and was very fast.
We've had 3 races so far this season, this being the 4th. And in those 3 races, in the HONOS Superbike class, we've had 6 different riders already this season stand on the podium.
Yeah, and of course, you know, Josh Herron was on it last time we were here. So I just think that there's a lot of things that are going to be developing in this race.
Always important when we talk about Dunlop tires, isn't it, Jamie?
It always is, and the first thing you need to take into account is the track temperature. Today's temperature is about 6 degrees cooler than what we saw in race 1 yesterday, and so that's caused only 2 teams really to make some big tire changes, and that comes from the Yamaha Monster Energy Attack team. They've gone to super softs on both the front of Cameron Beaubier and Jake Gagne. They did try those super softs and warm up this morning with mixed results. Gagne found a couple of things that he really liked in terms of how he can ride the bike. Cameron, there were some ups, there were some minuses, but overall they chose to go with it. Where it could be a problem is if he gets into a battle and he burns out that tire before the end of the race.
Ah, Jason, that's a little bit of a gamble, would you say?
Absolutely. And it's okay to do that, Greg. You got to take chances sometimes and just see how sustainable those lap times can continue to be, and we'll just see how that works out. It'll be an interesting story.
Here we go. Cameron Beaubier trying to go 4 for 4 in the first 2 races of the season here at MotoAmerica. The field ready to do battle with the Californian. Revs are up. We're on our way. Next stop, turn number 1. Beaubier got a good launch. So did number 50, Bobby Fong. Is Tony Elias trying to do something on the outside? No, by 4 bike lengths, it's going to be Cam Beaubier who leads us.
And then Bobby Fong's going to be right behind Tony Elias as they shoot down to turn 3. Kyle Wyman didn't get the best jump. Actually did a wheelie in, but it got it back under. But he's getting chewed up right now by 2 Yamahas of Gagne and Schultz. That's not going to hurt the Ducati rider, as Elias must have made a mistake on the exit of 3. But Kyle should be able to get back in the draft with those 2 Yamahas and get by at least one of them.
This is exactly what Cameron Beaubier wanted, not the rest of the field. Down into turn 5, Bobby Fong trying to make up any time he can on Cameron Beaubier.
Yep, and right now Matthew Schultz got a better jump. He's up in that lead group, and you can see somebody's gone off in the background there in turn 5, but is rejoining. And you can see that Bobby Fong got through. Now he's going to put the chase down. Tony Elias is in 3rd. And Gagne has made some big moves to get himself to where he is. He's going to make a shot at Tony Elias as they go into turn 8. Will it run him a little bit wide? No, he controls that speed really nicely.
Nice pass by Jake Gagne. Monster Energy Attack Performance Yamaha. 1-3 at the moment with an M4 X-Star Suzuki in between them. Bobby Fong trying to make the most of fresh rubber, trying to stay with Cameron Beaubier. In early days, this is really impressive from the M4 X-Star Suzuki Superbike rider.
He just looks like he's gotten so much more comfortable on the bike. He's letting the bike move around underneath him. He's muscling it around a little bit more, I'm noticing. It's just, they're starting to really make that bike feel more comfortable for him. And these are going to be important laps for him. Any laps that he can get where he can be this close to Cameron this early is a big step. And you can see Jake Gagne now is up to 3rd. He's got by Tony Elias, and he's trying to go forward. He was as far back as 6th early in this lap, so he's a guy on the move.
So that's Jake Gagne. Right part of your screen. There's Cameron Beaubier, Bobby Fong, Gagne. And then you have Tony Elias and Kyle Wyman onto the front straightaway to complete lap number 1. Fong doing everything he can to get as tight in the tuck and maximize that GSXR 1000 horsepower. Across the stripe, 2:14.8 from a dead stop for Beaubier.
Yeah, that's just so fast. But Bobby's done a good job at Gagne. I think Gagne had the best first lap. I'm considering how far back he was. He made pretty quick work of the people he needed to, and now he's going to go chase down Bobby Fong. And that's really, it can work for and against you here. If you can get somebody that can kind of work with you down these straightaways, and you can draft and redraft, it can pull you forward. But we know what's going to happen right now with Cameron. He's going to drop straight into a low 211 on this lap while those tires are brand new. And really what Gagne did, going back to him, he took advantage of those tires on the first lap. Brand new tires. You saw the pass he made on Tony going into turn 8. That's making big steps. Schultz has fallen behind Wyman a little bit further than I'd have expected. So not sure if there was a mistake made or whatever, but Matthew Schultz has dropped back just a little bit now of this battle between Elias and Kyle Wyman. Same 2 guys we saw locked together yesterday.
Yeah, they were locked together for 3rd place yesterday, but now Jake Gagne San Diego native, putting his Yamaha in between this battle. A lot of changes, Jason. This morning, after morning warm-up, I saw Tony Elias and his crew just spending so much time in the debrief, more time than I've seen, just trying to come up with some solutions to make Tony more comfortable on his motorcycle. Cameron Beaubier into the chicane. Just bike looks in so much control. You can see Kyle Wyman, Jason, with his foot off the peg. Do we know why riders do that?
I've talked to him about it. He feels like he can get the bike slowed down a little bit more. I said, why don't you do it on the right side? And he says it's just kind of it's a dirt track thing. He's a dirt tracker from back in the day, and he just feels more comfortable. He's also going through the soles of his boots a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know what? He'll sacrifice some boots to get another podium.
Tony Elias, we got to see him at dinner last night, Jason, and when we talked about the incident we spoke about earlier with the yellow flag, I was surprised at how calm he was about, accepting that penalty.
I think just kind of the way the year's gone, it's kind of been a bit of a bummer year for him. And I think that Tony's always been a bit of a realist, I feel, when I've talked to him about certain things. And he just said, hey, I just didn't see it. I saw the photo afterwards that somebody showed me. I did miss the yellow flag. I just didn't see it. And, at the end of the day, he's much more concerned about this gap that you see growing. 2:11.5 to 2:11.9. to a 2:11.9. So you get first three guys are all in the 11s, and then Tony and Kyle are there in the 13s. But when you think about it, he's more worried about the gap to Cameron than whether he finished third or fourth. I mean, it would have been a nice thing. Josh Herron with a good run so far. There you go. Cam Peterson and David Anthony. Didn't we see these two guys locked together yesterday as well?
We certainly
or
did.
Was it was actually PJ, wasn't it?
It was PJ.
Yes.
So Cam Peterson on a stock 1000 spec motorcycle, racing it up with David Anthony on a Superbike spec. So Cameron Peterson coming off that win earlier today in stock 1000. By the way, only his second MotoAmerica victory ever for the 45 and his first win ever in the dry, Jason, and he was all smiles.
Yeah, and he rode really well in that race. And these kind of races here are just are a little bit of a bonus race. He gets to kind of go out there and free-for-all it a little bit and go race against some of the Superbike guys. So two Suzuki riders locked into battle right now. You can see Josh Herron up the road just a little bit from them. Josh Herron went 2:13.8, so they found some improvements. Josh has made some, they got a new swing arm for that bike, I believe, this weekend. And here's a good look at Josh Herron on the Scheibe BMW. He still has Matthew Skoltz just up the road from him, as well as Kyle Wyman and Tony Elias. So this is an improvement for Josh from yesterday. And look at Skoltz is catching back up to these guys. So whatever mistake he may have made down, maybe in turn 1 or somewhere like that, he's definitely rolling back up on him.
Tony Elias, a little bit of wheel spin and wheel in the air to solve that problem. You can see Skoltz just starting to close back up. Wyman, now the different line than we saw yesterday, is getting aggressive. So Kyle Wyman, he's going to turn it in. Whoa, they nearly touch.
Tony actually looked over and saw that coming. So, Kyle actually just took it to him there as far as getting down into Canada corner. And Kyle probably feels like he's got a little bit of pace. So here they come into that last turn.
Great job by Kyle Wyman, huh, Jamie?
Yes, and if you remember when we talked to him out on the grid, this is exactly what he was talking about. He rewatched the race yesterday, and what he saw was that he has the confidence, he has the ability to race up against Tony Elias. You see him do it again. He's got to be smiling inside that helmet.
Well, think about it. He's given Tony Elias what Tony Elias has been doing.
Oh, no!
Cameron Beaubier is down!
Wow.
Your championship points leader throws it down the road after ripping off a 2:11.4.
This is the crazy stuff that happens in our series every year, Greg. We've seen Tony Elias with big points leads before. Cameron gets into turn 1. There's a big bump right about there. And it looks like he probably just touched it. It's right in the middle of that corner, and it's ever so subtle, Greg. And he just throws the thing down the road, and that just gives a huge breath of life to the rest of this field right now. And by the way, Bobby Fong, 2:12.3 that last lap. So he had lost 9/10 of a second, but he was still there. And this is bad for Cameron. Is the clip-on broke? I can't tell if it's broke there. He knows that if he can get going, he can still try to go get some points. But I think his race is over, Greg. It is over.
It looks like Cameron Beaubier's race is over, but you saw it unfold right in front of your eyes. Cameron Beaubier, after going 3 for 3, perfect point scorer, is now in the gravel trap, and we have a new race leader.
And how about these two guys? These guys this would be first Superbike wins for either one of these two riders that you see here, Bobby Fong and Jake Gagne. And like I said, you can see on the right of our screen, there's going to be a lot of gravel coming out of that bike. But Cameron Beaubier is getting back on. Gagne right now is got to be really happy with the first lap he had, because it's drawn him back up onto the back of Bobby Fong. Looking at the last laps through, he was very comparable in lap times. There's big motivation between these two guys right now.
And they were only 2 seconds behind, so for sure, 100%, they saw Cameron hit the deck, and a big smile came under Bobby Fong's helmet.
Well, I don't know if, in these kind of conditions, I don't know if smiling's the thing. You're probably going by there in more shock than anything else. That you can't believe what you just saw, because we don't see Cameron ever make mistakes. I mean, generally he just doesn't make mistakes. But now the motivation for these two guys is to try to, Bobby's going to come by right now, see +0 and think, oh, somebody's pulling along with me.
Jamie, that was incredible as Bobby Fong leads this one.
And if you think about the season that Bobby Fong has had, just slowly getting up to speed with the bike and with the team, what having 2 back-to-back rounds and 4 total races here at Road America has allowed him to do is just become more comfortable in very similar situations and the same track conditions. Now he's able to put all of that new knowledge that he has to work and lead this field.
But Jake Gagne now is pulled into the draft of that M4 X-Star Suzuki as they go down into turn 5. Gagne is there. Now he's there, Greg. He's done a lot of the work to get there. Now this is going to be interesting to see how Gagne plays this out. Last lap by 2:12.9 for Bobby Fong, 2:12.4. So he pulled half a second back on that last lap. As you get a look at our weather, absolutely perfect conditions right now. But Gagne's done a lot of the work to get there. Now it's going to be interesting to see if he just takes a couple breaths and sees, all right, let's see where Bobby's good. Let's see where I'm a little bit better. And then just try to draft that Suzuki down the straights.
Before the start of this race, Jason, Cameron Beaubier had 29 points in the championship over his teammate Jake Gagne. If Cameron Beaubier is not able to get up into 15th position in this race, which is, we pay back to 15th. 15th position's 1 point. And Jake Gagne is able to take advantage of this and possibly win this race, we're going to go from a 29-point lead in the championship. Cameron Beaubier would have 4.
How about this battle for third now? This is going to be Kyle Wyman, Tony Elias, and Matthew Schultz has crept back up on the back of those two guys. So Matthew's done a really nice job to pull himself back into this. I'm looking at his last lap, 2:13.3. That's the fastest he has gone. He's done a couple of them, but now he's kind of back in this battle for a podium as well. So these guys are going to go, these guys will definitely go all the way to the end. And I'm just trying to see, Greg, if Cameron has gone through.
That's one thing we're keeping an eye on.
I don't think he's gone through. So he might be over in the pits. I can't see from our vantage point here, but I think Cameron's in the pits.
Yeah, so we're getting word that Cameron Beaubier is pulling into the pits, which means his chances of scoring any points in this race looks to be over. Lap 6 as Kyle Wyman comes across the line in third spot, and it's still a couple bike lengths separating Bobby Fong, M4 X-Star Suzuki. What a boost this would be to the M4 X-Star Suzuki team. This program got handed over from Yoshimura late in the off-season. They got Bobby Fong signed up. Tony Elias was already on board, and that team continues to help and develop these bikes. Hannah's down at the Monster Energy Attack Performance Yamaha pit.
Cameron Beaubier just rolled into pit lane. It looks like that right handlebar, his throttle, is in pretty rough shape. The crew is looking it over now. They got warmers on the tires. We'll see if they can get it fixed in time and he can get back out on track and try and salvage some points here in this race.
All right, Hannah, doesn't look like there's a whole lot of hurry up going on down there, so might be over. Keep an eye if Cameron takes his helmet off.
Man, I just saw Bobby backing it into turn 6, and that's a hard spot to do it because you're on the brakes so hard going up the hill, and then it flattens out. If that rear end gets out a little bit far from you, when it kind of hooks back in line, it can put a lot of weight on the front tire, and we've seen some guys lose the front. So Bobby did a great job there. You can also see how much more of a direct line he's got into the carousel. Gagne opens up the carousel a little bit more on entry, where Bobby takes it directly under, straight underneath that bridge. Much more direct line there. So there's some bumps, Greg, on the inside of the carousel on the entry, and Bobby's bike must be working really well over the top of those for the line that he's chosen into there.
How do you like Bobby Fong?
Well, both these guys, I mean, you think about where Jake Gagne's been the last 2 or 3 years. Over, he was over in World Superbike on a C-graded probably team. He came back over here and he's been fighting his way back up, and he gets the call to ride this Monster Energy Yamaha team. Both these guys have been through a lot in the last few years.
Unfortunately for the #1 plate, Cameron Beaubier, not able to continue. He's with Hannah.
Cam, we saw you go down out there. Obviously, this is not how you planned to end such a great weekend. Tell us about what happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty bummed. I felt like it was going to go like yesterday was. I got a good start, and my bike was feeling really good. Went with the red front tire, which was a little bit different than we've been on all weekend. We tried it this morning. It felt pretty good. And, yeah, I think the track condition's a little greasy. You know, I just hit that bump and tucked it. It was an honest mistake, and these guys will patch this thing up and get ready for Road Atlanta.
Glad to see you up and okay. Thanks, Cam.
Disappointment on Cam's face. We've known him really well. You can see it, of course. Why wouldn't there be? But the way that this race is shaping up, he'll still leave here with the points lead. He had such a dominating first 3 races of the season. This battle is so intriguing. Kyle Wyman in 3rd spot at the moment. As things starting to tighten up at the front again, it just seems like Bobby Fong keeps trying to throw a shot and break the will of Jake Gagne. But Bobby the Bulldog, he held on to Cameron Beaubier. He kept them within 2 seconds, and a mistake gives him the lead. And he's doing what he needs to do at the moment, Jason. Now, to say that these 2 riders are rolling around at a slow pace is a misnomer. The fastest lap for both Bobby Fong and Jake Gagne, 2:11.9s apiece. The only other rider in the 2:11s was Cameron Beaubier. So Bobby Fong and Jake Gagne putting on a display out front.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the thing is that if Jake Gagne can somehow pull up alongside and win this race some way before it's over, he's going to really look back on that first lap and what he did on that first lap to get himself into the position that he's in now. It would have been very, very easy for him to have lost a lot more time on that first lap, but he did a really nice job. And you could see right now, Greg, to your point about there's places where Bobby's a little bit better and there's places where Jake's a little bit better. And it seems like when they get down the straightaway out of 3, going down to 5, till about the carousel, it seems like Jake is pretty strong. But then Bobby really has him covered, it looks like, this last half of the lap from the entry to the carousel to the end. I mean, you can see this gap, and then when we get back down into turn 3, it will definitely be a little bit closer.
Let's get to Jamie with more on Jake Gagne.
If you remember during the race yesterday, there was a little odd moment for Jake Gagne, and the team narrowed it into there being an air bubble inside of the brake line. So it took him several laps just to get his confidence back on the braking. And he told me this morning that those last couple of laps of the race, we still have 5 to go now, is when he really started to learn something. He had the confidence, and he feels like in the closing stages of the race today, he learned enough yesterday that he's going to have something for him.
It's a great report. You know, Jamie, the thing about brakes is obviously it's a rider's biggest fear. And when you have a brake that maybe comes to the bar or it feels a little bit mushy, these guys know exactly where all their equipment stands all the time. And he went into that chicane and had nothing. And it took him a couple laps to get it back. Now, for those at home, you all have brake adjusters on your bike. He adjusted his brake lever all the way out. But Greg, it still was a bit mushy for him as the race wore on. And I watched for 2 laps where he was doing 17s and 18s, but he eventually got back down into the 213 range. But at a track like Road America, and as fast as it is, you're constantly pulling on the lever even when you're wide open. Not pulling it on, but making sure your brakes are there for at least 2 laps when you have a little bit of that brake fade.
Yeah, that was a talk about Jake Gagne as we watch Kyle Wyman on the Cato Fastening KWR Ducati, M4X Star Suzuki of Tony Elias, and then Westby Racing's Matthew Skoltz, as Skoltz is just trying to make up for time lost early on in that race. And as we heard earlier, he's trying to get used to that new motor, which is the motor from last time. So a different motor than they started the weekend on. He's still trying to get that dialed in. He's close to Tony Elias now as they head into the chicane. Is Skoltz going to try Elias on the brakes? Not right now.
So there you go. There he goes. A big move. Oh, and he hits Tony.
Goes Tony. And Tony just looks on in disbelief. Yep. An aggressive move from Matthew Skoltz finds Tony Elias in the dust.
You know the motivation to get back up? Cameron Beaubier's out. So Tony's like, for a minute, Tony, you can see here, he's going to just try to give it a little bit of throttle and try to get up underneath Tony Elias. Tony is already tipping in. Matthew's a little bit late getting there, but it's just one of those aggressive moves in the chicane that we've seen before. And Matthew, if you look at it, he's really close to the rumble strips. I don't know if he would have made the corner had that not happened. Now, Tony getting up and looking down the track, he probably wanted to you know, make some gestures and things there, but he's got to get going again because he knows Cameron Beaubier is out. So he's at least going to try to get some points to try to make up some of that deficit.
Hopefully he's got the bike to continue. The M4X Star Suzuki team, they have certain techniques that they use to, you know, make the bike more crashable. So hopefully Tony is going to be able to continue. Looks like he is. So we'll see what you know, like
looks
what
like
the hit
it's okay.
was.
It looks like he's all right. Let's see where he comes across.
He's going to come across in 8th place, possibly.
Yep. So he's going to come across in 8th place right now. And I believe he's got Cam Peterson up the road ahead of him. That's a tough one. These two guys. Now see, here's the gap. Look how close Gagne is to Bobby Fong right now. And you'll see even through here to kind of sustain, stay about the same. Once they hit that carousel, though, it looks like Bobby's bike works a little better than what Jake feels underneath his Yamaha at the moment when they get down into the carousel. So he closes it all up in here, doesn't he?
He certainly does. So Gagne still trying to close that gap and give himself an opportunity to make a pass for the lead. By the way, Jason, Tony Elias, by the time he crashed and got on the motorcycle, it was 18 seconds.
Yeah.
That little hands on the hip thing might have cost him 2 or 3 seconds.
Well, you know what?
But you have to react to that. It was disbelief,
yeah.
You know, so
that's just an instinctual thing that you have when somebody runs into you. He was taking note of who it was, and I'm sure there'll be some words about that after the race.
Oh, and I'm sure MotoAmerica Race Control is looking at that as well.
For sure.
But to the front we go with Bobby Fong, 2:12.8 last time by. Jake Gagne was just a 1/10 of a second quicker. So Gagne has got a lot of work to do as Bobby Fong has got this particular section of the racetrack dialed in, and this really becomes more critical than anything because I think if you're Canada corner to the stripe quicker than anyone else on the racetrack, it gives you the advantage to win the race.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, all up through here, Bobby just looks pretty good. Gagne is trying to stick a little bit closer this time, but the amount of time he loses down through, like from turn 8 down in through the carousel, it's hard to make up every lap.
This time, Bobby Fong will register a 2:12.9, identical lap times by both riders. So they're staying consistently now in that mid to high 2:12 range as we ratchet back to Kyle Wyman, who's 7 seconds adrift. And we know Matthew Schultz is still in the hunt for 3rd place, 1.2 seconds behind Kyle Wyman. But the Caddo Fasteners rider right now is doing a spectacular job. I mean, you know, Jason, Kyle Wyman gets on the podium yesterday, and it's due to a rules infraction. But now he's done it.
Well, this is, you know, he's fighting now. Now he's thrown his hat in the ring, if you will, with the rest of them because we've seen a lot of PR, a lot of good social media. We've got a Ducati in the grid, this and that. But I think if you talk to Kyle, his results have not warranted where he's been finishing. He wants to finish further up, and he wants to race with these guys again. And this is the weekend that he's kind of finally doing that. And so far he's not put a wheel wrong in the race yesterday. He had a small slide off on Friday morning in that turn he just went through right now. I'm looking at his lap times, 2:13.5 that last time through. Matthew made up 2/10 on him at a 2:13.3, and that was almost Matthew's quickest lap of the race. So Matthew still has pace. Kyle's going to have to keep his head down and keep charging ahead.
And I think, Jason, for Kyle Wyman, a lot of people always point the finger at the machine. You know, oh, it's Ducati, it's this, it's that. But Kyle Wyman's also developing and maturing inside of the HONOS Superbike class right now. And the opportunity to race with riders like Tony Elias increases his confidence, which we know increases your speed.
Yeah, I spoke with him yesterday after that race, and that was a big confidence booster. He's like, Jay, I just haven't ever even got a chance to ride with Tony before or been around him for that long. And he got to study him and ride with him, and before long, it's just another guy, isn't it, Greg? I mean, it's just another guy, and it's another guy that you're trying to beat. And that was a big confidence boost for him yesterday, and it's showing again today for him. And I'm looking at the time back. He's losing a little time to the leaders. The leaders are 12.9, so that last lap through, he was about a half a second off them, but he kept it at 6 seconds for quite a while.
Jamie, what do you have about Kyle Wyman?
Well, you talk about him maturing as a rider out here. He's also maturing as a team owner. And one of the decisions that was made in between races here was to take that bike back to the shop and completely disassemble it, take it down to nothing, make sure that every single area is being refined and used appropriately. And that's what they did. They went through it with a fine-tooth comb just to make sure there were no further areas to improve before they got to the track.
Yeah, and here in HONOS Superbike, of course, the Ducati Panigale V4R, which Kyle is riding, starts life as a street bike, one that you can buy, and then it's heavily modified in race trim. And Kyle Wyman is able to take that motorcycle. Jason, when we have our little speed trap, 177 miles per hour, but we know that it's capable of reaching speeds of 195 miles an hour right here down into turn number 5 before he rolls off and gets on the brakes.
Yeah, because this straightaway is quicker than the front straightaway, like you talk about, Greg. Is But, you know, he had a little look over his shoulder in turn 3 just to kind of maybe see how far Matthew was back there. He went a couple tenths quicker that last lap than Matthew, so they've kind of evened out the last 2 laps.
They have, because
you know,
Matthew went 0.2 of a second quicker than Kyle before, so he's able to make that back up. So this gap kind of holding steady at 1.3 seconds. An eventful weekend for the Westby Racing team and Matthew Schultz, getting a new engine spec and putting that in and expecting the best after dyno runs. Looked like it was good, but they showed once it got on the racetrack that they needed some things to do, and the team stepped up last night, had a late night, putting the motor they had from Road America 1 in that bike, and it's showing for Matthew Schultz. Of course, Schultz with a podium already this year. This is the battle for the lead. It's holding steady. Jason, it's interesting because if you look at the last time by the stripe, Bobby Fong was only 0.2 of a second ahead of Jake Gagne, and it's just that accordion effect on a 4-mile long road course like Road America.
And Jake Gagne can't quite get to where he needs to get to right now, and his bike looks quite a bit better to me than it has even coming out of the chicane. We've seen Jake sideways a lot out of there, and in this race, that bike is definitely driving forward so much better as we see the white flag. One of these guys is going to win their first Superbike race, Greg.
If your heart's not pounding right now, you might want to call a psychiatrist, because this is exciting. Jake Gagne has his first Superbike win in front of him. All that's standing between him and that victory is Bobby Fong. 2019 Supersport champion. Bobby Fong knows how to win. He proved it last year. He knows how to win championships. So, can Bobby Fong hold it together in the HONOS Superbike class to get your first Superbike win? Would be jubilation.
Yeah,
the entire team would explode with excitement. Down into turn 5. Gagne's trying to close that gap, and he gets to within about 2 bike lengths, but it's this drive out, Jay.
It's not even, it's from like, it really is this part here between 6 and 7 and down into 8. He'll keep this at a right around the same gap. But then if you look, and you're going to see from our turn 8 camera that leads into the carousel, you watch how little distance Bobby uses getting out of this corner into the carousel, Greg. So watch where Bobby enters. He's gonna go right under the I or the L of Speedville, and look how much more Gagne opens the entry up. And you see that gap? It starts to open up a little bit right through there. And we've seen it lap after lap, and the bike finishes the corner so well for Bobby, but it really starts further back in the corner. Gagne is getting to so much lean angle so much earlier than Bobby. Bobby drives it in there, goes over those bumps, gets his bike turned, and right now he's so good down all through here. Look at the gap that's pulled out, Greg.
Bobby Fong is getting it done. Not a look over his shoulder, eyes forward. Go through this beautiful section of racetrack into Canada Corner, turn number 12. After this, Jason, there is only 2 corners that'll greet Bobby Fong, and then the long run to the checkered flag to snag his first HONOS Superbike victory here in MotoAmerica. Here he goes, Jason. He's got to keep this one nice and tidy and clean. Jake Gagne trying everything he can, but too much between them. On the gas goes Bobby Fong, head down and up the hill. How do you like race 2 in the HONOS Superbike class? It's going to be M4 X-Star Suzuki's Bobby Fong with a half-a-second victory over Jake Gagne. And up the hill comes Kyle Wyman, who will get his 2nd podium in a row. Wow. Who could have predicted this one as Matthew Schultz comes across the line in 4th? And how about Josh Herron, the number 2 on the Scheibe Racing BMW. This team's been working hard. Brand new swing arm for this team this weekend. Josh Herron desperately trying to make this motorcycle his own with feel and geometry, and he'll bring it home in 5th spot. A good points haul for Josh Herron.
And there you see Dave Anthony just behind him. A good run from Dave Anthony. And then we're going to see Tony Elias goes across the line. He's going to get 6th place points. So, yeah, and then here comes Corey Alexander. Corey had some problems in the 1000 Superstock race earlier, Greg, so he's out there right now, and he's going to end up getting a top 10 here, it looks like, as well. I did see Dave Anthony cross the line, and I'm seeing him go down our board, but I for sure did see that. Then you got Bradley Ward and Travis Wyman. Travis Wyman is riding with an arm that's going to be operated on Thursday, I believe. I don't know how he made it through the weekend and all the races he's done, but here comes Bradley Ward and Travis Wyman coming across the line, Greg. Looks like it's going to be for 11th and 12th.
That's it. 11th for Bradley Ward and 12th for Travis Wyman. What a job. As David Anthony continues to, on our timing and scoring, kind of sail down.
Yeah.
And it looks like Danilo Lewis in 13th, Jeremy Coffey in 14th place. But Bobby Fong, how about this guy? How about Bobby the Bulldog? Gets to stand on top of the podium. Now, Jason, you know, when we came here, we're like, all right, Cameron's going win, win, win. It's 29 points advantage, one entire race already after 3. How many times, especially in the last couple of years, have we seen something like this happen? Someone jump out to a huge lead in the points championship, and then like that,
and it's just
one
simple
or two
mistakes.
races
I mean,
changes.
what we saw Tony Elias do at Sonoma last year, my mouth was wide open looking at the screen. And then today, you know, Cameron just never puts a wheel wrong. And you heard him say that bump. It's kind of the bump down in turn 1 is kind of well known here, and we've all had talks about it and things. And it's just one of those things that can catch you out. It's caught a lot of us out.
He's going to be thinking too about that tire choice. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
That
the difference. They made one change, and yeah. But I mean, it's points that Cameron just threw away today, and Bobby, he deserves this. I mean, 600 Supersport champion last year. I mean, at the beginning of last year, Greg, he was working for a manufacturer as a sales rep. And look at what he's done. He's gone on to win a 600 championship, and now he's gone on to take his first Superbike victory.
Yeah, if there was anybody out there that doubted why Bobby Fong deserved the M4 X-Star Suzuki ride, your answer's just been given to you right now. Second race of the season, second event of the season, second race here at Road America 2, and Bobby Fong answers the critics. He put himself in the position he needed to be in. Can't wait. So excited to hear what Bobby Fong has to say. So much coming up from Road America. We'll see you in Victory Circle in a moment.
The excitement, the jubilation of Bobby Fong as he was able to cross the stripe about a half a second faster than Jake Gagne. So congratulations to Bobby Fong on his first win of 2020. And both those guys rode one hell of a race here in the HONOS Superbike class. Rounding out that podium for the second time in 2 days, Kyle Wyman on the Panigale V4 Ducati.
Yeah, what a good race by Bobby Fong. I mean, Cameron made that mistake in the first turn. Talked about he hit the bump there and lost the front end, but and gave Bobby the lead. But you know, Bobby held it, and it's really hard to lead your first Superbike race when you have a guy like Jake Gagne behind you, just hounding you the whole rest of the race. But Bobby never made a mistake, never put a wheel wrong, and you know, that's good for him to get his first Superbike win. There was a lot of different people thinking maybe he didn't deserve the M4 ride and maybe somebody else should have got it. So it was cool to see Bobby get his win and Kyle Wyman getting on another podium.
Looking at Bobby Fong live with the M4 crew out there, and yeah, no, he definitely deserved it. And again, winning that Supersport Championship in 2019, he comes out and he puts himself up near the top. You take away possibly 25 points from Cameron Beaubier. I mean, Fong, Gagne, Wyman, Scholes. I mean, everybody. Unfortunately, Tony Elias exited the track for a moment, but he's even looking at that going, this is the race I needed.
And also, you just look, there's Cameron, just as soon as he hit the bump, just lost the front end, and I mean, it's happened to so many people.
What about the tires? You asked me right off the bat, you know, when you were talking about comparing yesterday to today in the tire, you said sometimes you can go too soft.
Yeah, he actually tried a different front tire today, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But also, Bobby Fong got into the 11s today, and he wasn't pulling away as quick as he had been the previous couple races, so maybe he was trying to push, and you know, Bobby was pushing him a little harder. He didn't have a big lead, and maybe he was going to try to put a couple really good laps together and break them, and then put it on cruise. So hats off to Bobby, the M4 team, and you know, Cam will be back stronger at Atlanta.
Yeah, there's the struggles of Cameron Beaubier. I want to remind everybody, I've got some hats, and tell everybody, this is the summer hat. Check that one out. I'm Robbie Floyd, and I've got the winter hat. Make sure you log on to MotoAmerica.com this week. They've got some new hats, some new merchandise they're going to be putting up this week. And I'm telling you, fans around the world, you need that bad boy to show everybody what a great time we're having here in America. MotoAmerica Live Plus, we're almost done. We're going to hear from our winner, Bobby Fong, next.
Today's Superbike race coverage has been sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
How impressed are you with Bobby Fong and his M4 X-Star Suzuki victory? Back on the top of the box for Suzuki, Jason.
It's really great to see. I mean, Jake Gagne put in a valiant effort. It was great to see him do what he did on that Yamaha by only half second back. Wyman, again, tremendous performance. Skoltz, Herron, Anthony, Tony, Elias, Cam, Peterson, Corey Alexander will run out your top 9. Then we have Flinders, Gilbert, Bradley Ward, Travis Wyman, Lewis, and Coffey are going to be the last of our point scorers.
Well, Jason, for the M4 X-Star Suzuki team, last time we were here, it was a complete yard sale. What a turn of events after 3 weeks away, a completely different race weekend. So we got to get to Hannah to talk to Bobby Fong about his race win.
It's the first race win of the season in the HONOS Superbike class for the M4 X-Star Suzuki team and a career first Superbike win for you, Bobby. Tell me what it took to make it to this point.
Oh man, what can I say? It's been a long time coming, but you know, unfortunately Cam went down, and you know, I want to stand up top on this on the box with Cameron in the race too. So it's unfortunate for that team, but you know, it's been a pleasure riding for John and Chris Ulrich, and you know, they gave me this opportunity on the Superbike to showcase my talent and see what I can do in the big boys. And you know, it's paid off, and we're just going to keep the ball rolling. But I got to give it up to my whole team, man. They're working their butts off. My crew chief Frank, my mechanic Cody, Tim, my coach Josh Hayes, you know, everybody who's been behind me, Mike for taking care of me this weekend. There's been so many people who's been behind this effort, and thanks for always believing in me, and we're going to try to keep it on 2 wheels and keep the ball rolling.
Bobby, after kind of a tough start to the season, how does this affect your confidence looking ahead to the next round?
Oh, you know, definitely it's a confidence booster, but the end goal is to beat Cameron. You know, he's the #1 plate holder, and we're chipping away at it. It's slowly coming, and I feel like everybody else knows I'm coming. But like I said, we're just going to stay positive and look forward to the future.
Congratulations, Bobby. Let's get over to Jamie.
There were some calculated changes made to Jake Gagne's bike coming into the race today, and those paid off as he finds himself on the podium. Jake, when you're able to come together as a team, make those changes and make them work, what does it do for you as the rider?
Oh, it's good. I mean, I got so much confidence in this Monster Energy Attack Performance Yamaha team. I got a great group of guys that work their butts off, and you know, each coming from last weekend or the last time we were here, we started off a little rough, you know, on Friday, lost a little bit of time and kind of had to reset a little bit, but we've learned so much. We keep getting better and better, and the crew's working so hard, and man, that was a fun race. Bobby rode his butt off. He was really going good, and you know, we kind of on different sections of the track going back and forth, so it was really tough for me to make a pass anywhere, or try to make a pass, and hats off to Bobby, hats off to Kyle, and it was a bummer to see Cameron go down out front like that. Obviously, he's the man to beat. Just like Bobby said, we all want to get up there and race with Cam, and but I'm happy to bring this thing home in second and get on the podium and get this Monster Energy Attack Performance R1 back up here. So hats off to the crew, and hats off to all the fans for coming out. We have an amazing turnout here, so it's good to see everyone on the cool down lap and wave some hands and do some wheelies for everyone.
Congratulations. Let's go back to Hannah.
A pair of threes for the number 33 of Kyle Wyman this weekend. Kyle, yesterday's third place finish came as kind of a surprise to you. This one you knew about. Tell me about that celebration lap out there.
You know, it's actually a little bit calmer than I expected it to be. I was just fighting really hard to hold off Matthew. He was really putting the pressure on and putting on a good fight. So, you know, I'm just glad I was able to keep consistent laps. And man, I just got to give it up to the Kato Fastening Systems KWR crew this weekend. I trashed this thing on Friday. We didn't make any laps, and we came out with a double podium. I mean, I can't even imagine. So, just want to put this Ducati up front. I know we got a lot of Ducati fans out here this weekend, and man, I just feel so good.
Congratulations, Kyle Wyman. Greg?
All right, congratulations. And here's a look at the standings. It's 9 points between Cameron Beaubier and Jake Gagne as we peel off to round number 3 at Road Atlanta. Thanks, Hannah, Jamie, and Jason. I'm Greg. See you next time.